So, hi everyone. Thanks for joining this meetup. Just to have prerequisites here. So we are San Francisco Mulesoft Meetup group. Today's session is basically on the integration of Mulesoft Automation Suite with Salesforce. Um, Today's agenda. This is how it flows. We'll have introductions between myself and Amir, and then we'll jump over the topic, and then we'll have some networking time at the end with some question Q&A session. About us, I'm Rajesh Nagarajan. I'm Solution Integration Solutions Architect at Aviva. I've been with the integration space for almost 7 to 8 years now, and I've worked on both MuleSoft and Boomi. Now, predominantly concentrating on MuleSoft. And Amir is the I don't think you need words. He's the most popular guy in LinkedIn and across all the automation group. So thanks, Amir. Thanks for joining us today. And this
Happy
is
to
a
be here. Happy to.
LinkedIn group. Feel free to connect. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
And just a forward-looking statement. So any purchases you make should not be based out of this meetup. This is purely for educational and information purpose. Uh, So I'll hand over this to Amir so he can introduce himself, give a brief background of himself, and then we can jump over to the topic. Over to you, Amir.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. I think I need to share my screen.
Yeah.
Okay. While this is happening, again, hello everyone. My name is Amir Khan. I'm a solutions engineer working for MuleSoft, and recently I've been specialized on MuleSoft automation. In my career in the past, I was doing automation from previous employers. So RPA, test automation, also in DevOps, we had a couple of automation areas. So for today's meetup, what I have prepared is first of all an introduction into automation itself, because I believe at MuleSoft this is still a new topic. So when we talk about automation, how automation is perceived in the market, why it's needed, what are the challenges. So this is something where I will be explaining kind of background on automation, on RPA especially, and how it is perceived from the market. So what are the challenges and so on. And then we will do an introduction how sustainable future-proof automation could look like, and give you an introduction into MuleSoft automation and how all this fits into the Salesforce ecosystem. And then we will already be in the demo time. So we have prepared three demos. All are related with Salesforce, where we are going to see different use cases. First, two are more related to customer service, where we have a service agent. They want to automate a few things. So we will be explaining these use cases before we go. We have another one with Einstein bots, where the chatbot is going to trigger automation on MuleSoft automation side. And the last one is standalone MuleSoft Composer, where we are going to see a quick ITSM integration into Salesforce Service Cloud through ServiceNow, and Slack is also involved. So you can see what are the capabilities, and I hope um, you get some knowledge from here and provide your feedback. So really looking forward. Yeah, so my name is Amir Khan. I already introduced myself, also a couple of background information. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, either by scanning this QR code or directly going to LinkedIn and searching for Amir Khan. You will find me. I'm the automation activist with my subtitle. So now, from the agenda perspective, also given you a quick introduction, what we are going to look into, and there's a kind of couple of technical slides in there as well, where we are going to see how MuleSoft automation fits into the AnyPoint portfolio, what is capable, because now it's involving different solutions, RPA, Composer, AnyPoint, so how these interacts with each other. And after the demos, we have still some time planned for showing you use cases on slides, of course, um, so you have a better picture what is possible. Rajesh, at the end, I have also planned a trivia quiz. Not sure if you do it here.
Yeah, we can. That should be fine. No issues.
Okay, perfect. So then let's get started with automation itself. So why, first of all, we need automation? And I use this graph to explain this basically. So when you look at this graph, you will see the average company lifespan over the last 60 years. And in the past, it was really like, due to economical events which were happening, the lifespan was decreased and increased again. But in the last 10 to 15 years, it has been drastically going down, and this is due to the main reason of the digital disruption which is happening, and also the transformation which is happening, and the fact that businesses are overloaded with work. They don't have enough resources to invest in innovation, and every company is basically impacted. So there is no line in between. You cannot just stay still and say, I will not do anything. You have to move, you have to do at least something. Otherwise, if you cannot provide the right innovation to your business, to the market, in your business space, you will be disrupted. And of course, Mulesoft want the customers and companies to be on the disruptor side, by helping you to free up these creative minds, your business resources, so they can invest in innovation by using automation. But you may ask, okay, Amir, that's good, but automation is not a new topic. That's true. It's also what our connectivity benchmark report from last year says. Um, but there is also something which we call unrealized promise upon automation. So we have from this report, we got few statistics where 70% of organizations says that automation has been there for a while also in the organization, but it's not successful due to the connected user experience which is missing. And also, one of the takeouts was that only 28% of apps are integrated, which is also harming the automation to become more stabilized and sustainable. And 60% says it's because of the whole connectivity, data, and app relationship, so which is also not very good. And all these topics, when you look at into MuleSoft before automation, this is actually our core business, right? So we make sure that we can provide these connected experience. Apps are fully integrated seamlessly, and you can have this connected data and apps relationship. So now the automation market is changing. So before, I think 2021, it was really when you talked about automation within your company. Of course, there were these IT automation and business automation initiatives, but still very technical. But mainly it was RPA. And this is where automation has been become big, but not very successful. And we are going to uncover this by telling you. So I will tell you a story about automation, how it became there where we are today, and why it is like this. Yeah. So first of all, just few roots of automation, as we are more in the integration space and new to automation, few backgrounds. So when we think about automation, imagine we are a company, we have a business process which is implemented using different technology. We may have another business process which is also implemented with the same or different technology, and then you have the need to interconnect these processes, to interconnect activities between these processes, to interconnect apps and data between the processes, and this is something which is needed. So most of the time, this is needed on the business side, and of course on the system side as well. Um, you may say, okay, this is super easy to solve with system integration. Yes, you are right, but most of the time the organization do not have these skills. So what they do is they put a human resource which has the skills and understands the process, what they are doing on daily basis, and then this business persona is becoming the process integrator. So what they do is like they open SAP, and there is a need to copy order information into Salesforce. So they go into the SD module, order management, copy the data from the UI on the SAP side open the browser, log into Salesforce, and paste the information into the opportunity and link the order and the opportunity with each other. And same they do for various kind of business application on daily business. Um, so this is how the automation started, because over time organizations realized, okay, this is super slow. We are in a digital disruption. You are really living in an ever changing digital world where DevOps is on a daily menu. CI/CD is active, so you have changes which are happening a lot. You cannot be slow, so you have to gain a pace. Error is something which was happening, the human error. So if I am in a good mood, I will perform good today. If I'm not in a good mood, I will not perform good today. Also, from my profession, I'm a business person. I'm working on tedious task, on repetitive tedious task, and this is definitely a high cost process. So in countries like here in Switzerland, it's also involving high cost labor, which is also something which can be improved. And this way, vendors and organization discovered, well, this kind of processes, they can be replaced with a bot, right? So you can put a script which can do basically the same what a human was doing, but much faster and hopefully sustainable. So in the past it was quite okay, it worked out. RPA became a process integrator, but today, in today's digital world, this is really a challenge, because now let's take a look how RPA works. Yeah? So if you have a process you identify to be automated, this can be cross-process activities, any kind of system. So let's imagine there are few systems involved. So what need to be done is the business persona knows exactly what need to be automated, but they don't have the skills, right? So you need to have an additional role in your organization. You need to have a skill set in your organization to enable the business to automate this process. And how does it work? So the business show exactly what they are doing on daily basis, what they are doing in repetitive mode. So the RPA developer understands this, tries to capture what is done on the UI, and it is translated into a RPA script, RPA process, which is fully automated using script or no code solutions. And that's it. It's a one-to-one conversion of what the business was doing. So far, so good. You have the process automated, everything is fine. But as you want to run it in a production environment, you need to test it out. You need to make sure that this is working, where you bring in your pre-staging, pre-production environment and execute it multiple times. So there's a rule, especially with RPA. The more a process runs, the stable it becomes, because then you can see how applications are reacting. Maybe when you were capturing the process, few boxes or for few messages didn't came up, but now as you're running it, it is behaving differently. So you can really capture these kind of things and make your script more stable. So once you say it's tested out, you put it in production. So after 1 week, the process has been in production, running continuously, everything is fine. The SAP team says, let's deploy a transport in the order management, because we need to have this change on business requests. So we need to change SAP and add few additional informations. Maybe required fields are added, additional buttons and so on. So the process changes a bit. So what will happen is the process, the automated process which is running in production, the RPA process will break. And then the RPA developer, who was just a supporting function for business, will get the information. Process failed, but he does not get why. So he will go to business, and business will then look into what happened and will realize, okay, we have changed the process, so we have to fix it first. So you learn the new way, the new process to RPA, fix it, and then redeploy it in production. But that's not everything. As the process broke here in production, the business need to manually execute it to make the production data complete and make sure that the process is seamlessly performed in production. So once this is done, um, the business is good. So basically what we see currently in the market, and this is also the reason why every second RPA driven automation project is failing. Let's imagine we have this business organization within our company who is performing repetitive work continuously on daily basis, and the costs are increasing over time. At some point we decide to introduce RPA based automation. So what will happen now is, first of all, you need to have these dedicated UI automation skills. So when I talk about UI, it is user interface, or let's refer to it as graphical user interface. This is a dedicated skill set which is required for RPA developer to understand the logic, how applications are behaving, how you have to click on specific objects, how you need to read the data on a UI level. So this is something you need to have, first of all. Second thing is that these automated process which you build, they need to be deployed somewhere. On a Windows machine, this is the blueprint in the market. So you need to have a dedicated client. This could be a EC2 environment, something in the cloud, but it need to be there, right? And also, if you are going with RPA driven automation, you need to consider that the apps you want to automate, like SAP, you need to have the license also for the bot, because now the bot will use a user to log in via UI into SAP. Same goes for ServiceNow, for every application which is involved in your daily business, like Salesforce. You need to make sure that these licenses are assigned and existence for the bots. That's also something you need to manage at least. And once you have this, the effort for business won't go down, because now imagine we are living in a very agile world. So first of all, business need to show what need to be automated. So here they will invest some time to give the knowledge to the RPA developer. But then over time, they may see some reduction, but also there is a continuous need to support. If they need new automation, if the process has been changing, process failing. So all these things need to be done. So business is continuously supporting now, instead of repetitively executing the process manually. Now they are supporting and serving the automation. And this is what I refer as cumbersome RPA. So you have deployed RPA, it is running, it's not stable, but it is running and you are serving it continuously. So here, when you look back and said, okay, if you have continued the manual effort from business, you see you are now investing even more only with RPA driven automation. And this is the status quo on automation today, what you see on every organization. And when you look into the RPA vendors, they are shifting more and more and expanding their portfolio to APIs, while as Gartner is also reforming the message on automation, right? So we have hyper automation, and hyper automation is a broad broad topic which includes different capabilities. Like RPA is one of those, but it's not the most important one. You have integration, you have APIs, AIs, machine learning. You have so many other capabilities which you can bring together from your company to make your automation journey successful. And this is where the market is now changing. And I will give you an introduction into Mulesoft Automation, how we are going to address this. But before we go there, I just want to pause for a second and ask in the round if there are any questions or things which are not understood correctly. Rajesh, any questions in the chat or from your side?
No, I don't see any questions right now.
All right. So let's continue, see how this issue can be addressed. So this is really purely for RPA driven automation, which you will find a lot today in the market. So now MuleSoft has entered the automation space, and we believe that the moment you start serving automation, your automation journey has been failing. So automation should be serving humans, not the other way around. And in order to understand this, we need to understand the sphere of automation. So what is possible? And you will have these APIs and UIs interfaces. When you look into this sphere of automation, you will see there is a technical side and there's a business side, which is involving different kind of technology. So you have ServiceNow, Salesforce, Microsoft CRMs, SAP, and maybe legacy application where business is really used to work with. They know and understand exactly where to find what information, but it's really on a UI level. While on the other hand, you may have technical resources who are good with scripting and they understand how to use REST API, XML, Kafka, PDF, and so on, how to use this technology. But they are not really interested in automation. Neither they need it. They can help you automating, but this is the guy who needs automation. So the business persona, they need automation. They need to free up resources in order to invest in innovation. So how can we make it possible for them to easily compose automation, to easily use it in a decoupled manner, which is more readable than what you have today? So they are not going to, they would love to use these kind of technologies for all the apps they are using, but it's not possible. It's too technical. So how can we decouple this information and allow this persona to use this information? And before we go there, why decoupling is needed, why business people need to make things maybe using API headless. Yeah. So it's API is a very technical topic. So I refer to it as headless automation. How can we enable the business persona to consume headless automation, and why? Yeah. First of all, faster in design. Yeah, so everything you build with headless, with APIs in the background, is faster, 10 times faster in design compared to what? Compared to UI automation. And this is even more impressive because it's 30 times faster than UI automation. I've done a test where I automated with our RPA solution, the, what was it? Creating an order in SAP. Using the SAP GUI, it took around about 5 minutes. And then I did the same with the Mulesoft connector for SAP. It was done in seconds. So really, it is super fast, uh, much sustainable, because APIs, once they are developed, of course they can change, but the frequency is not that high as UI changes. Yeah? So let's imagine you have a login form where you have built the API for with user ID and password and maybe language. And then this has been represented and built for the UI, where you have the username, you have the pin, and you have the language. Now business comes up and say, I want to change the pin into password, right? So this is a change which will happen, but it doesn't impact the API in the background. It will just be reflected and changed on the UI. So this is also something where UIs tend to change more frequently, especially in an agile world, than APIs. Also, when you have UI automation, you always need to have a bot, right? Because the bot will then replace the human to do some tasks, repetitive tasks. So you need to have a client side installation, a dedicated client machine reserved for the bot to run. And when you look into the availability of UIs versus APIs, so APIs are the first thing you develop in your application development. The first thing you mock are APIs. Now imagine you can already integrate these APIs into your automation journey. The thing you are mocking integrated directly into the automation journey. This is the way to become a hyper automation company. While as when you go with a UI, these are available very late in the life cycle once all API implementation are built. Of course, they are easier to understand, but on the other hand, the automation on the UI side is having really slower execution because you are dependent not only on the script you are building but also on the UI. So if SAP is responding slower, the bot cannot run faster, right? So this is something which is impacting the automation. So now when we look into where to start, when we know and understand the benefits of headless and UI automation, so always start with the headless automation. What does it mean? What is headless automation and where is it? Yeah. So for all the modern application, like every web design application, every mobile application, try to discover if there are APIs available. Of course there are, because these are modern applications. They have been built in a microservice infrastructure. So there will be APIs. If these APIs are available and documented, go for headless automation first. And also if the understanding is there, then always go with headless automation. Also for system like which are complex like SAP, NetSuite, you can do UI automation, but believe me, this will slow you down, and the effect on stability is not very good. So you cannot have a super stable long running UI process with RPA only. You need to change the game towards headless API first automation. Try to connect for complex system like SAP, NetSuite, headless. or databases. You don't want to open a client, Toad client, and enter your SQLs from a bot. This is a task for APIs, for headless interfaces. Same for FTP files and so on. So start always there. And now let's see how it would look like, yeah, when you go into this direction. We have these three roles. First of all, the business persona. And when we try to understand who needs automation, of course, RPA developer and IT team, they are the enabler for automation. They can help you, they can support the automation journey, but this is the persona who needs automation. Today, it's like RPA developer is doing automation, they are owning automation for this persona, which is business. So whenever something is needed, they need to go to RPA developer and ask for change, ask for new automation. So they are not owning it. And there's a huge communication overflow between these two parties. So how can we change it? How can we empower this persona to drive and own the automation with the supporting roles? Of course, we need to understand what are the apps involved, because this is also important, where you identify, okay, APIs make sense to be used, headless makes sense to be used, and it can be used by business. How? And this is the way where MuleSoft is really leading in the market. Our center for enablement is, it has been there for a while, but now it is even more important than, I would say, in the system integration space, because now you want to enable business to drive something, to really own something. Someone who's not technical get empowered through the center for enablement, where the IT team and RPA teams are building reusable blocks, so the business team can consume and reuse it. And the way it's working is with our first tool, which is MuleSoft Composer. This is the go-to tool for every automation. So this is what you hand over to business people with a point and click automation. And there we provide all the native connectors for all business apps, all modern apps like NetSuite, Jira, Salesforce, ServiceNow, Slack, Teams. So many connectors are provided, and they are decoupling the technical layer. So in Salesforce, you don't see any JSON or XML. It's really decoupling the technical layer. So the business sees the fields they fill out in Salesforce, they can relate easily. Of course, there is a kind of enablement and understanding needed, but this is what is really easy to understand and get started quickly. So MuleSoft Composer is driving for business the ownership for automation. So now, how does it fit in the game of existing MuleSoft customers? So let's
Uh,
say, yep,
I mean, before we have one question here from Darko.
please.
Why is it called headless?
Okay, this is something what I am using. So headless is everything like, you know, when you have a UI or graphical user interface, this is something on a system like a head, a face you have to interact with the backend system, yeah, which is represented. And headless is everything which is through APIs, which you cannot see, but you can perform a task, perform an operation against this interface. So everything which is not visible on a desktop and can be performed in the background, this is referred as headless. Does it make sense?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you. So now let's take a look for this process. This is a simple process. Something gets created in Salesforce. You shift the data to NetSuite, do drop a Slack message and continue in Jira. So for this process, the business can drive it on their side. So they don't need any additional support from other parties. If they understand Composer, they can build their own automation flows. This is easy. So now if there is a need to integrate FTP into the business process flow, so what they need to do now is they need to see with the IT team if already in the API-led integration, API-led architecture, there is already a API available which is moving data to FTP. If this is the case, then they can reuse it. If not, they would request from IT to build this API as a puzzle, as a Lego box, reusable, so they can connect it. And once IT has built the API, they can expose only this specific API and share it with Composer. And Composer is able to connect to the Anypoint platform and see all the APIs which are shared. And this makes it really powerful, because now, again, the FTP API may contain some technical information, but all this is decoupled from any point and is represented in Composer in a readable manner. And this is super powerful because now you are really handing over with Composer a tool to your users who can now reuse everything you have been building with any point. And if this is fine, then again, the API is exposed in Composer. The business can integrate it in their business flow. Again, they are owning it. They got the support from IT team, but they are owning the automation process itself. Now, next one is if there is a need for an application to be part of this automation flow, which is not providing any kind of interfaces. There is no possibility to add it into via APIs or unlock the system. Yeah, so in such scenarios, the best way is to address it with the last mile of automation, which we refer as RPA, robotic process automation. And this is a perfect use case for all legacy application system without interfaces, client server apps, or even unstructured data, so PDF documents, images, files, all these things which is unstructured, you can unlock with RPA and then process this further with Composer and Anypoint. Or also one case is where APIs are super difficult to use, not documented at all. RPA is also one solution, but again, as a last mile of all possibilities. So once you have this, of course, the RPA developer comes into play. With MuleSoft RPA, they can drive UI-based automation and exactly build this, automate this specific system which is not automatable and share it as an API available on Composer, so the business can now integrate this component also into the business flows where data is passed into this legacy system, then it continues into NetSuite, Slack, data is uploaded to FTP, and then a case is submitted in Jira. So this is the way how automation uh, can be sustainable and future proof with a center for enablement process and the produce and consume streams, which are then really empowering everyone to consume automation. And really, Composer is something which is here the game changer for us and also in the market.
Yeah.
So here I want to pause for a second again for questions.
Yes, Samir, we have a question from Iqbal asking, for C4E, do we need to have MuleSoft Composer? And the follow-up question was, how can we be C4E with just endpoint platform? Just have APIs on Exchange and portal for integration.
Yeah, for integration, it's you can continue as you are using already today the Anypoint platform, build your assets, publish it in Anypoint Exchange, and allow the overall organization to reuse it. You don't need to have Composer. This is the picture where which is more from the automation point of view, right? So where you want to empower other users to build this technique, to build more sophisticated automation flows by using technology without having these technical skills. And that's why Composer is here, right? So allowing any user with point and click automation by integrating these different technologies into their automation flows. Does it make sense?
Yeah, okay, we can proceed.
Okay. So now if we take the same graph, what we have just seen, but with a new way of working, with a universal automation approach, and it is introduced at some point where business is having this repetitive work. So what we will see, first of all, compared to the first one, compared to the market today, the RPA skills are not really the mandatory part. Of course, there are use cases where you need to have it, but it's not the majority of things and effort you need to have. And therefore, also the resources you would have for the bots to work with is minimized, right? On the other hand, you may need to build API assets or use API assets produced by IT through any point. But then this effort from business won't go just down. It's not realistic at all. First of all, business need to invest in automation, right? So they need to understand and own the automation using Mulesoft Composer. And then over time, and this can take 6 months, 1 year, 3 months, based on the variety and the processes you have in your organization. And at some point, you will then see, okay, with the time and the team, the supporting line with RPA automation team and the IT, business is benefiting and reusing existing assets and building their own automation flow without having this communication overflow to dependent people and parties which are helping them to drive automation. And this is enabled through Mulesoft Composer. And if you look now into the manual effort, in the repetitive task, you will see that at some point we will have this break even. This could be in 6 months, in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, based on how many processes you want to automate. But then you are really owning the business process. For changes, you don't need to go to an RPA developer. If this is a change in Salesforce, you can do it by yourself. So this communication overflow is completely eliminated and needed only where you need to have the support for RPA and IT, and you will save then cost and time on long term, and then you are freed up to invest in innovation and drive automation successfully.
Amir,
And I'm sure there are a few questions now.
sorry to interrupt. So, are you sharing slide 18 or we have gone past that?
You are on the slide 18.
Yeah.
That's weird. I'm already on 29.
Okay. Yeah. I think the slide is stuck at 18.
Let me reshare. Sorry
Yeah.
for that. So let me reshare, and please confirm that you see the right slides.
Okay. So it was just on my side. Okay. So all the other folks are seeing slide 18.
Okay, now this is weird because now I cannot go into presentation mode. Okay, here I am. So I think this did anyone see this slide, or
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
saw it?
No, everyone, every day it's seeing slide 20.
Okay.
It
Okay,
was
so we
just
can
it was just
continue here.
ending. Yeah. Yeah. It was just on my side. Yeah. We can continue.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, no worries, all good. Okay, so with this approach, MuleSoft Automation is providing uh, the right benefits in terms of efficiency, productivity, of course, cost reduction, and this is something which is really resilient because now you are adopting the same approach of composable enterprise, which you know already from the API-led methodology, and now applying it as part of C4E and automation, and bringing the same methodology to business in order to use these building blocks to address automation in a more sustainable way, and don't be completely dependent on RPA bots, which are also just tied to static way of working, and very sensitive to changes, especially on the UI. So with MuleSoft Automation, driving API first automation is the way to go, where we see the market is changing now more and more towards. So are there any questions?
No, I think we can proceed.
All right, so now let's see, what is this MuleSoft automation? Okay, you have seen few tools and the way of working between the teams. So first of all, MuleSoft automation is a offering from MuleSoft which provides different kind of capabilities. And when you look into the statement of Gartner and the way towards hyper automation is all about capabilities. Within your organization, you may have people who understands API, you may have people who understands RPA, other may be good at chatbots or AI, ML. So you can bring all these capabilities together to drive a successful automation journey. And this is what we are providing here. We are providing to you capabilities to move faster with less amount of resources, improve the collaboration with all these different peoples, and also contributes towards the 360 of Salesforce, because when you add now Salesforce also on top of what MuleSoft Automation is providing, you have the only hyper automation platform with enabled through Salesforce, which is in the market. So that I have not seen any vendor who's capable to provide all these capabilities with a chatbot, with recommendations, with customer service features, AI, ML, APIs, integration, RPA, all these together packaged. I think Salesforce is the only vendor who can achieve this today. And this is what MuleSoft Automation is just contributing towards this philosophy and vision. And our first product or first capabilities is enabled through MuleSoft Composer, the easiest way to connect apps and data, providing to non-technical users. This capability will enable everyone to basically do their day-to-day work much faster, um, help automate the data transfer from one system to the other in an automated flow applied with logic, and everything in a business readable way. And this is where you can securely hand over this tool to business people, to users who are not technical, and allow them to contribute towards automation. The second one is, of course, MuleSoft RPA. If this feature is needed, MuleSoft RPA is there to help. So you can automate any kind of UI. We were talking about legacy application. This is the recommendation: systems which do not have any APIs, but you can do it with web applications as well. So if you have a web application which does not provide the good approach to integrate APIs, you can always go with UI. MuleSoft Automation or MuleSoft RPA is providing the right tools to automate a browser, find any objects, and just automate the flow of activities you would be doing with manually, yeah, with repetitive work, and collaborate together into a secured and trusted platform, and also scale automation end to end, just with integrating into Salesforce 360, Anypoint, and Composer. So everything you do in MuleSoft RPA is reusable in Anypoint as well as in Composer, and also in Salesforce. And this is one of the demos we are going to see later on. And the last product part of this MuleSoft automation offering is a limited set of capabilities from the Anypoint platform to just, unlock the rest what is not possible through Composer, through RPA, and provide these capabilities through all these connectors which we have available in our marketplace, in our exchange portal, to enable a seamless integration and help IT organization to empower business by integrating those apps which are super heavy to integrate. So how does these components interact with together? In, of course, in the way of MuleSoft Automation. So if we look into this empty slide, MuleSoft Automation Suite, where does all this start? So you will see you have Anypoint, better than I do. So with Anypoint, you were used to have this design studio, with Anypoint Studio, with different connectors you could use. Whatever you build, you deploy into the Mule runtime. This is on a very high level, and the Mule runtime can be in Cloud Hub or on premises or wherever your private cloud is. And then you have deployed your app. Of course, you have Anypoint Exchange portal where you can share everything you're building and just publish it there. So now we are adding to these capabilities which you are already an expert on, the RPA capability and the Composer capability. And RPA is very similar from the way of working to Anypoint platform. We have also a design part with RPA Builder and RPA Recorder. You can basically record activities on any UI and interfaces like PDF documents, text files, Excel files, and so on. You can call REST services and so on. So the moment you build a process, you can save it into the RPA server, and from the RPA server, what you will do, it's very similar to the control plane of Anypoint platform. You can deploy these processes in a runtime, which we call the RPA bot farm. This is always a Windows machine. So you can see here, these need to be Windows machine, can be deployed everywhere. Yeah? And then you deploy this automated process, which you have saved in RPA Manager on these bots. And these bots execute this defined on time frames or for external calls from Anypoint or Composer. And with Composer, you don't have this runtime which you can build on your premise. With Composer, you have, of course, the designer, the Composer flows where you can integrate RPA or any kind of business apps and then deploy it directly into the embedded runtime in Composer. And then it's deployed and activated. But you can also call RPA bots directly from Composer. You can add a RPA step, and this RPA step will then trigger a bot which is deployed on a bot farm. Similarly, you can publish any bot you build. So any automation flow you build, you can publish on an Exchange portal. And this will give you then more visibility into what has been already automated on the automation on the RPA side. So you don't need to do it again. It's explorable, it's discoverable in any point exchange. So whenever you want to publish and share a automated process outside of RPA solution, you can publish into Exchange, and from Exchange it becomes then usable in an anypoint mule flow. So you can call then automated processes which are published in Exchange through Mulesoft Anypoint Mule Palette and insert it into your flows and deploy it. And then this will then call the bot via HTTP request again here in the runtime on the RPA bot farm. And you can, of course, call the other side as well. So from Composer, now you can connect to Anypoint platform and see all the APIs which are published in Exchange and shared with Composer. Yeah? And you can also call REST calls via HTTP to Mule services. So you can see it's many things are possible. Um, we have talked about the way of working between the teams to have the less technical depth created in automation, but everything is possible. So you can combine, mix, and match as you like. And this is part of MuleSoft Automation Suite, these three capabilities. If you say you have only the need for RPA, MuleSoft Automation is providing the solution, so you can use only this solution, this RPA solution, as part of MuleSoft Automation. But we are providing you this capability to really get the maximum out of your automation journey. And now I want to pause here because this is a complex slide to see if there are any questions.
Yes, there's a lot of interesting questions. I mean,
Yeah.
people now it gets interesting. So let's see. Can RPM bot be deployed to any cloud, AWS, GCP, Azure?
Yes, the bot installation can be deployed to any cloud. You just need to make sure that it is a Windows operation system. Yeah. So we are from our pre-sales, and this is what you are going to see later on. I will be using a EC2 environment. For AWS, you can deploy it on a VM ware machine, VirtualBox, wherever you have this Windows operation system, you can deploy a bot.
Okay. And does it need to be on Windows only, or can it be on Mac machines?
That's a very good question. It's only Windows. That's by design. Yeah, so it's not changeable.
Yeah.
It's Windows operation system.
Okay. So the other question we have is, can RPA bots be deployed on Cloud Hub?
No, there is no such option, and this is where we slightly differ with Anypoint platform, because all these Mule runtimes can be provided as a service to you in Cloud Hub, so you can use Cloud Hub to deploy any API. This is something where RPA bots mainly require access to your internal systems. Yeah, so running Windows on your internal system, this is where we don't see the need to deploy it in Cloud Hub. So currently it's not available at all.
Okay. And we have one more question from Frank. Uh, RPA recorders in MuleSoft. I mean,
Yeah.
so I think he's asking if RPA recorders are available in MuleSoft.
Yes, we have a RPA recorder available in RPA or MuleSoft RPA, which is of course supporting Windows operation system. So the moment you have installed it, you can record processes on UI. Yeah? And this is very powerful, especially when your business persona knows exactly how the process looks like. So you can hand over this recorder to them. They can record the process and export it to you as a RPA developer, and then you can import it into RPA Builder and try to automate it and make it more stable. So this is provided, yes.
Sure. Thanks, Samir. We can go proceed.
Okay, you're welcome. So now we have seen how MuleSoft automation is technically interacting with each other. So now let's see how it fits into the Salesforce ecosystem. And this is super exciting because now when you look into the Salesforce Flow portfolio, it's the automation suite where you have Salesforce Flow Builder, which enables you to really drive the user experience and interact and get the value out of different workflows and design it in Flow Builder. You can orchestrate it using the Flow orchestrator, of course, call it from Slack, or define your custom actions using Flow actions. Now, all this is already very powerful in Salesforce ecosystem. Now, imagine you want to go beyond what is possible using Salesforce Flow, like connecting to third party. We are providing Flow integration, aka Composer, to allow people in a no code environment to exactly do this heavy lifting, connecting to NetSuite, creating a ServiceNow ticket, going to Microsoft solution and do something there, or calling any kind of APIs with the HTTP connector in a easy no code approach and really design it with dedicated logic there. So this is where Flow integration is extending the Salesforce Flow portfolio. And with Flow RPA, you can unlock all legacy environments or um, use unstructured data. Yeah, unlock unstructured data from email attachments, which are coming maybe through Service Cloud, and you want to read the content of the PDF documents which are scanned. You can use Flow RPA to scan this information and further process it within Salesforce ecosystem or Salesforce Cloud, or integrate to any kind of legacy environment which is not possible to get unlocked so far. So with UI approach using RPA, you're unlocking also these kind of systems. And this makes it really super, super powerful. The whole Salesforce Flow automation portfolio is for me one of the strongest currently in the market, with all these capabilities and powered, of course, with the capabilities of MuleSoft. And I've also now built this. It's a complex slide. Sorry for that, but there was not really an easy way to build it. So here you can see the MuleSoft Automation Suite in the white box, which we have gone through, and you saw how they relate to each other. So how can you make these things available in Salesforce Flow Builder toolbox? Yeah? There are different capabilities. Of course, you can call any API via Apex code, any bot via Apex code, and write your Apex code in Salesforce and then call it from Flow Builder. Or if you connect your Anypoint organization with your Salesforce org, all these APIs you publish in Anypoint Exchange, including the RPA processes, are available in the toolbox for you to drag and drop and build it as part of your Salesforce flow and integrate it tightly into the Salesforce ecosystem. And this is what is working for everywhere where Salesforce flow is supported on the Salesforce cloud. You can easily integrate to. So again, I want to pause here for a second to see if we have any queries, questions, because now we will become more, hands-on.
No, Amir, we can proceed.
All right, so let's see what we have planned from the hands-on point of view. I've planned 3 demos for you. 2 are more sophisticated use cases from real customer examples, and the other one is like to demonstrate the power of building automation flows by integrating 3 systems easily within 5 to 10 minutes and see what is possible here. So first of all, we are going to start with the Salesforce Service Cloud system, where we are going to go into a role play of a service agent who will request or work on a request from a customer, and then he has to process this request with a lot of manual repetitive work, where RPA will come into the game, and then using Mulesoft Composer, we will automate the process and reduce the idle time for customer and improve the productivity of the service agent. Once this is done, we will continue and see an example how Einstein bot can consume MuleSoft automation, how this also fits into the game by providing you a dedicated use case from peak times for service agent, where like Black Friday or any kind of Christmas events which are happening, retail organization tend to provide higher discount during these phases, or across the calendar there might be dedicated months where you want to have higher discount for your customers to really generate more revenue. And exactly those are the times where you get also higher number of cases and bad customer experience. And here we are integrating with MuleSoft Automation the Einstein chatbot to demonstrate what is possible even for those scenarios, and then continue with building the automation flow. So now with the first use case, what we will be doing here is we will be talking about this fictional customer. You know it if you have seen Salesforce presentation. Northern Trail Outfitters, a retail company who is selling sport articles online, outdoor and merchandise products online through a web shop. And they have a very loyal customer called Rachel. Rachel is one of their in the last few months a very frequent customer who has been enjoying the experience with the orders. Everything was on time and really delivered in a good quality. Now she's planning to go into vacation by next week, and it's a hiking vacation, so she has ordered hiking shoes, but unfortunately she entered the wrong delivery date. And so what she will be doing is she will be calling the service center of NTO, Northern Trail Outfitters, and there she will meet Michael. And Michael is a super passionate customer service agent working for NTO, provides excellent customer support, and he's really passionate about making a good experience for customer when interacting with the service center of NTO. So he tries to solve all the challenges they have in in their request. Yeah. But currently, Michael has a super complex workflow. As he's a service agent, he loves to enjoy the experience of Salesforce Service Cloud, where he can see all his cases in a dashboard, resolution time, response time, how he's performing. And whenever there is a new case coming in from an omni-channel, he checks upon the order, gets a recommendation from Einstein via next best action. Then sometimes he has to put the customer, in our case Rachel, on hold, where customer will then start listening to music and Michael has to do some heavy lifting. So NTO has few legacy application. One of those is an order management system where Michael has to now remotely connect to this RDP session, go into this Windows machine, open the legacy application, find Rachel, find her order, update the delivery date, and then continue basically with the same process into NetSuite, as some of the business analysts are using NetSuite. So he has to update the same order in NetSuite, and then he can come back to the customer and confirm everything was fine. We can close the case. And sometimes it happens that customer just drops, right? So I would not wait like 10 to 15 minutes for a service agent to come and just I'm waiting and queued in a idling mode and listening to music. So they drop, and then he has to call back the customer and confirm that everything is fine. Also, his productivity is lacking here. So, from motivation perspective, this is not something he is enjoying, and NTO has realized it. Two things: improving the customer experience, providing this connected experience to the customer when handling the customer service, and also the productivity of Michael. Yeah? It cannot be that he has to do this work. So now this has been automated. Yeah. So in the automation, it looks like very similar to the process, but now Michael can stay in Salesforce Service Cloud. This is the platform he loves. This is the platform he enjoys. So he can stay in Salesforce Service Cloud, where in the past he has to put the customer on hold. Now he can continue the conversation with the customer and just trigger a RPA bot who logs in into this legacy application, which is not providing any kind of APIs and interfaces. So the RPA bot logs into the system, do the updates, and then Composer is continuously watching the RPA bot to finish. And the moment RPA bot finish, the Composer triggers then the flow to update NetSuite, getting the data from RPA and continuing it here directly in NetSuite and updating the order accordingly. And then Rachel get the confirmation. If she's still on the phone while the bot is executing, Michael can introduce new discounts, new offering, new products to her, and build a customer relationship. And once the bot is complete, he can confirm to Rachel basically everything is fine, case can be closed, and that's it. And so basically, this is the use case we are going to see now in a live demo, as the very first demo. And I will be taking the role of Michael in the role play. So let's go and jump into the demo. Sorry. So as you can see, this is now the dedicated environment. Yeah? So first of all, you can see here I have Mulesoft Composer, which is orchestrating and really there to uh, to govern the process, to provide this automation capabilities where you have different kind of technologies now involving in this orchestration. So you see we have a RPA process as a first step, but this is just a trigger where Mulesoft Composer is listening to something to complete. And this is a dedicated RPA process we have selected here. Once this process completes, it will continue with the NetSuite update. And once NetSuite is updated, it will update the record, the case in Salesforce. And this is basically the simple workflow. And as this is my personal environment, I need to hit the test button in order to start the process. Usually you would activate it and it is deployed in production, so you can continuously use it and do not have to just hit the test button. So while this is starting up, let me show you also NetSuite. This is the area where you can see the sales order from Rachel. When Michael's updates something, he basically writes down something here in the memo field, why he has updated it. And in the shipping, you can see this is basically the date where Rachel is already gone on vacation. It's far beyond when she is planning to go to vacation. So this need to be changed, which will be changed. And we are going to update this field just to demonstrate that this is possible. And let's quickly see. Automation flow is started. So now we can go into Salesforce Service Cloud, and this is where I will take the role from Michael. So whenever I come in the morning, I see this dashboard, which is showing me basically all my cases, my performance, few metrics which are important for me because I'm a service agent. I get paid on the cases I close. So this is very important for me. And when I'm ready in the morning, I can continue to work here. I can set myself available and see what's in the pipeline for me. What's are the cases I could take now to get my day started. I set myself available, and very soon you will see that there's a request to update the delivery date. And this is something what I say, okay, I'm doing it on regular basis. I can do it now. So I accept it. Yeah. And now Salesforce 360 experience happen. It collects all the information I need and represent it for me in a readable manner. So I can see here the contact details, the account details, and also the description of the case that something need to be updated, the delivery date. So I can now see, okay, this is fine. I call Rachel, and while I'm calling Rachel, you can see here the next best action, which is through the Einstein recommendation, is already has analyzed the case, and based on the recommendation logic, it's providing a suggestion to me, which I can accept. So it's a loyalty program I should be offering Rachel because she's a loyal customer, and this loyalty program includes a cost-free delivery update. So I can now go through, this is screen flow, which is taking over now, introducing for me, okay, this is my guided script. I need to be telling Rachel, thank you for being so long a loyal customer with us. As an appreciation, we want to provide this loyalty package to you, which is including this cost-free shipment update. Is this something you are interested in? Of course, Rachel want to have these shoes already this week. So she says, yes, I'm interested. Then Michael can, of course, continue and ask, what will be the date you want to have the shoes? Either tomorrow or on Friday, because next week she is on vacation. So this is not going to work. So Michael selects 19. It's available. This is fine. He can continue here the flow. And this is just a notification for Michael. The moment he clicks next, a bot will be triggered in the cloud in a secured environment and perform the update in the order management system, this legacy application, and we will come to that later on. But what also happens is, while Michael is now on the phone and says, okay, I have triggered the update for you, Rachel, very soon we will see a notification, but is there any anything else I can help you with. While he can continue now his conversation with the client, you can see there is a comment happened in on the case itself that a RPA bot is triggered and will update the case once OMS and NetSuite are updated. So now what's happening in the background, RPA bot has started in a secured environment, opening the order management system, finding Rachel's order, and then continuing to change the delivery date. And Composer is continuously watching this process. So you can see the moment the RPA bot completes, it will process the flow, which is now happening. So what is happening now is it realized the bot has completed the execution. So it will go into NetSuite and update the memo field and also the shipment here. So the moment I click on refresh, you should be seeing here that there is a text now in the memo field, and the shipment has date has been changed to the 19th of January. And additionally, it has closed the case. So if you come back here and refresh the tab, few things you will notice. First of all, it has been resolved automatically, and it has commented on the case that everything was fine. I updated NetSuite, I updated order management system. So I'm complete, I'm done. That was it. I've resolved the case. You can continue your conversation and inform your customer. This is totally fine for Michael, so he can confirm your you will receive your shoes by tomorrow. It's all in triggered and so on. So now you may ask, okay, Amir, we have seen something happened in Salesforce. You triggered something, then Composer was triggered due to a RPA process execution. NetSuite was updated, but where the heck did the bot run? And how did it update the order management system? So what I already said is the bot ran in a secured environment. We don't want the bot to run on the agent's machine, because then it will start popping up screens and really distracting the agent from work. So it's running in a secured environment. And to give you a feeling how it looks like, this is basically the bot in design mode, right? So I've loaded into design mode this process. It has 3 steps with the BPN process model you can see here. And beside each step, there is a set of activities which are linked and performed for all of these 3 steps. So in the open order management system, it will just open the program, then it will update the order, the date, and then it will close it again. And I will just hit the run button to show you how a RPA looks like, right? So this is a legacy environment, a simulation of a legacy environment, an order management app, basically. So what it will do now is it will search for the customer, find the date, and in the promised date, it will enter the new date, save everything, and then log out from the system and save the data, clean up everything. So that's how RPA is running. It's really driven through UI, graphical user interface or user interface, where you have to do something what a human was doing, and now automated, it's a bot doing for you. Yeah, this is also very beneficial, especially for systems which are not providing any kind of interfaces. And this is a perfect scenario where now we have helped a service agent to be more productive, so he don't have to open a RDP session, remote desktop session, log into this environment. And this is a very simple scenario in our simulated way, but in real time on retail customers, you will see that they have many complex mainframe application where they have to wait and log their different data into the systems because the automation is not possible. And that's where MuleSoft RPA can really provide this benefit. And together with Composer, it can even go further and integrate any kind of business apps into the automation flow. So, and here again, I want to pause for a second um, and ask in the round if there are any questions.
Yes. So we have a question from Veera Raghavan asking how the customers and order details are passed bot.
Once again, how are?
How the customer and order details are passed to bot.
This is via API call. So each of these bots are published in an exchange portal, and from the exchange portal, we call it in Salesforce flows and passing uh, the date which we have selected in Salesforce flow to this bot, and the bot is then processing this information and passing back the same thing to NetSuite and so on. So this is how the RPA is able to capture the data.
Thanks. The next question is, what happens if any error occurs in RPA process? Is there any transaction rollback?
Um, there are possibilities to capture what happened, yeah, to really uh, define the error, what happened, and then react upon this error and perform certain steps of recovery, or rollback. But there's nothing out of the box, right? You can just say redo everything, bot what you have done. This is not possible. You have to really apply the steps what you want the bot to perform even in a error scenario.
Okay. And we have one more question. Is Flow Builder part of Mule RPA?
Salesforce Flow Builder is not part of Mule RPA because it's a component in Salesforce ecosystem. So you need to have minimum one Salesforce cloud to have the Flow Builder accessible.
Uh, Thanks. There's one more. Hi, Amir. if Is there a community edition of RPA Builder available to download and run locally?
Um, Currently not. There are different streams we are working on to provide the same experience what you see with Anypoint, with the design studio, with Anypoint Studio. Currently, it's not available as a community edition. So if you want to try it out, you need to go and follow a process through your Salesforce contact and account manager. Then they can provide you access. Or I think also through the Mulesoft community, there are few initiatives going towards this direction.
Yes, that is right. We will hear more about it in coming few weeks.
Okay,
Thanks.
you're
Yeah,
welcome.
we can proceed. Yeah.
Just in respect of time, we have 30 minutes, right? Left.
Yes.
Okay. So now the next scenario is very similar to the one we had now. So you remember Michael and Rachel. Michael has now really a great productivity. So what will happen now very soon? Black Friday will happen. It already happened, but in our case, just peak times during calendar year, there might be different months where you want to, as a retailer, you want to provide offerings and discounts to your customers to really generate more revenue. And these are typical times where you have Black Friday or Christmas, New Year's Eve, where you can set these discount and great offerings for your customers so they can then order more. But what also happens is that during these peak times you have a high number of cases. So now NTO has automated this process, but still the high number of cases is not satisfying the team which you have, the team of 5 or 10 people who are handling these cases. They cannot they cannot cover this high number of process. So what you can do is either you hire, for this dedicated time you hire additional people, students, who can then work part time and help you during these time phases. You have to invest in education and enable them a bit, but you can handle it with a more or higher workforce. Or you say you move it completely to a self-service approach where Michael is not anymore the first touch point, but the Einstein bot, a chat bot, which will start the conversation with you as a customer. And then it will provide assistant to you where you can decide, look, I have a request as a customer. I'm not really sure if the chatbot can address it, so I want to talk to the agent. So, but it will provide the assistant and offer its help, so the customer can decide, okay, I want to wait rather in a queue for 30 minutes and then talk to a service agent, or let's see what you have to offer. So customer wants to update the order, in our case with Rachel, so the bot can continue the conversation and do the same what happened now in Salesforce. It will trigger the bot in the same manner, but the workflow is slightly different. You will see it later on. So the bot will do then the same what it has done in the legacy environment and update NetSuite and so on. And really then once it's completed, it will confirm that everything is updated via email to the customer, which in our case will be Rachel. But again, it is continuing the conversation. While all this is happening, it will ask for further support, and then customer get the options to say, uh, I'm good, I want to end the conversation, or no, I still want to talk to an agent because it did not satisfy my request. So this is the improvement even for this service cloud case, but now introducing the chatbot as a first touch. And here we will directly jump into the live demo. So the case is clear in our scenario. The thing what I need to do now is just go into a different flow. And this flow is like we have it here, this one. So you can see you can have different kind of flows here. And I hope that everything is fine. And it will just take some time to check the connections. I think I will have a failure here in the send email because I changed my password yesterday. Let's see if everything is fine and connected. Then we can start this flow. And if not, sorry, because it's my mistake. I changed the password. Yeah, I knew it. So it happened here. Let me see. I entered it in the browser already, but let's see if I can quickly enter it here. Yeah, it's saved already. So let's see. This happened now. Retesting the connections. So you, while this is happening, you can see it's very similar, like bot trigger is monitored, update in NetSuite, but then there's a different procedure. It will create, the chatbot will create a service case in Salesforce Service Cloud. So it will get the last created service case, and then for each of those cases, maybe there are a few of those, it will trigger the update after NetSuite is updated, and then continue and send the email to the customer. So let's hit the test button here and wait for a second until this gets started. And I need to move here. This is my mailbox, which is also important. Very soon you will see it in the interaction with the chatbot. And beside the mailbox, let me see and hope it starts up. The test started. I have here the, one second, sorry, let's go. I have to log in. Cookie expired. This is another Service Cloud session because I did not use the same one which I had before. Also here I can say log in, it's fine. And here I will just launch my customer portal. And here you can see this is a customer portal. So how it is going to work, and let me do it like this, is a mobile. And here we do it like here, this, and we go here. So let's do it like this. So here I will be chatting, and this is my inbox. So let's start the chat. I will not enter now Rachel's information. Let's keep it as is. So now you see an agent is on the way, and this is the Einstein bot. And I want to now change my order in the same way like Michael did before. So now the Einstein bot comes in, say, I'm Max, your digital assistant. How can I help you? Please select your purpose. So he can, Rachel can now select, okay, these are my options. I want to talk to an agent, still an option. Then she has to wait. Or she can say, I want to manage my orders. Yeah? So Einstein bot does not know who this is, right? So again, he asks what you want to do, manage your orders, place an order again, talk to an agent, update shipping, or track order delivery. In this case, it's update shipping. But now Rachel need to identify who she is. Yeah? So she can now enter her customer ID and then press enter. So what will happen is Einstein bot will take this customer ID and pass a NTO chat code to Rachel. So Rachel can confirm, yes, she received it, and she can enter the code. Einstein will validate, okay, this is the code I sent out. This is fine. So I found this specific order with the hiking shoes. Is this something which you want to change because this has not been yet fulfilled? Rachel can say, yes, this is actually what I want to change now. What would you like to update? Would you like to update the delivery address, the delivery date, or talk to an agent? She can say, I want to update the delivery date. So now it comes up with few suggestions. Yeah. So either when she is in vacation or on Friday. Um, Currently in our environment, you can see we have here the 19 because that's on purpose for my demo because I wanted to have with Einstein a different value. So I will say it's the 20th. So it will say, okay, this is fine. I will update it. And now what happens is it will create a Salesforce Service Cloud order. This is the number, which is a reference um, for Rachel in case there is an error. She does not receive any email as the bot is suggesting here. So she can use this number to call the service center again and then really talk to an agent. Now this is documented. So how is it done? Let me open and expand it a bit. In the Salesforce Service Cloud, you will see here this case has been created is on new, but it's created on with Einstein bot just for documentation purposes, for audit purposes, that there was a change requested from customer, and it has been documented here. And now the same thing is happening, right? So here in MuleSoft Composer, you can see it has already started to process. So in NetSuite, first of all, what we will see, I'm also changing the text. So let me refresh. It will be the Einstein text. So RPA updated the order via Einstein details and few numbers. And here we have the 20th of January, which has been also changed from 19. So now this has done basically the same thing, and it's continuing because now the case need to be handled as well. So an email will be sent out, which we will see now. The email has sent out. So here, this is the confirmation that this was the order, has been updated. The new shipping date has been okay. There's a variable mapping which is not correct, the old one, and you can see here this is the order number which is now going to be closed, and this is happening in Salesforce Service Cloud. It's on status news, so the moment I would refresh, it is closed. And I think MuleSoft Composer has now also finished. So let's go here and see. Yeah, MuleSoft Composer has also completed the whole flow, yeah, which was now in this case a bit more complex. So this is the second or enhancement of the same process what we have seen with the service agent, but now we have, yeah, self-serviced the whole customer engagement, and only when she needs to talk to an agent, she can decide that I want to talk to a dedicated agent, and then continue to yeah, get connected to an agent. Otherwise, the chatbot is able to help her with the help of MuleSoft RPA and Composer in the background. Again, second demo, opening up for questions. Are there any questions? If not, we can continue. All right. So then let's continue with the last demo, which is just building an integration flow to give you a sneak peek into Composer. Um, this is where we are going to use these three systems: ServiceNow, Salesforce Service Cloud, and Slack. We will create an incident in ServiceNow, which will trigger a case creation in Salesforce Service Cloud, and then we will post the case ID and Salesforce ServiceNow ID into a dedicated channel in Slack. Super simple scenario, but very powerful because now you are connecting three systems within 5 minutes. Hopefully, I can manage it to do it in 5 minutes. So let me go first of all into my Service Now environment and hope everything is fine here. I can enter the password. Basically, this is my Service Now incident module. So what I will be doing is I will create here an a new incident, and this incident will be transferred to my Salesforce Service Cloud environment and drop a message here in this specific Slack channel. And the way I will be doing it, I will go into MuleSoft Composer, and this is basically the UI. Whenever you log in into MuleSoft Composer, this is what you would see, and I see all my flows I have been building. So all are inactive. It's my playground environment. So what I can do now is I can say I want to build a flow either from scratch or using a template. And this is also very nice. What MuleSoft is providing here is a set of templates you can consume. Of course, we are a Salesforce company. Good that this happens. So let me just enter here password. other one would not have worked. Sure. So now, yeah, again, I need to provide here my password. Sorry for this cookie expiration, but that's how it is. And even here, I need to verify myself. Done. Okay, so this is my home screen, and let me quickly jump into the templates to show you what are the templates provided. We are a Salesforce company, so one endpoint in the templates so far is Salesforce system, but you have different examples where you connect to Jira, you connect to ServiceNow, to NetSuite, and do different kind of data handling, incident assets. You are working in a work plan in Jira, connecting Jira issues to Salesforce. From NetSuite, you are getting customer payment represented in Salesforce. So there are few of these examples which are very handy to use, defined by a trigger, and you see how the data is transferred to the different systems. But we are going to build our flow from scratch, so you can see what I'm doing. So basically, where it starts is, it always starts with a trigger event. Yeah, so it's asking me, do you want to have a dedicated trigger which is based upon a scheduler, like every time specific polling, or on a system event? And this system event is providing some out of the box connectors you can use to integrate to. Yeah, so you can see here you have various kind of systems you can connect to, like also here this business central for dynamics connector, ServiceNow, Snowflake, Zendesk, Workday, and many, many more. So what I will be doing is, I want to define my trigger the moment incident is created in ServiceNow. So I would choose ServiceNow, and now you can see here I have two ServiceNow connection already available. Um, if you want to put it again, you can say this is my Meetup demo. I want to connect to a URL. You can copy from here directly, and then, sorry, close this and go here, enter it, admin, and what's your password? You copy the password and paste it here, and then you can say I want to connect. So it will then establish a connection to your to your service now. And the moment it's done, it will come up with the first step, which is a trigger. And now you can say, okay, I want to have the trigger on a new record, so new or updated. He's asking me now, what is the table name you are looking for, right? So I can say I'm looking for something called incident. Yeah, and that's it, right? So I have now defined what I want to use as a trigger, and then you see here the trigger comes up with all the fields from this incident entity, and these are provided as an output. So I'm working with service now, I can exactly know, I do exactly know what is the number, what is notify, what is the incident state, and so on. I understand these fields because I'm working with service now on day-to-day basis. And the moment I've done it, this is fine. The next step would be to create a case in Salesforce Service Cloud. So now you can say, okay, once the incident is created, I want to create a system action. And in the system action, I would like to create Salesforce itself. There's also the possibility to trigger something in Marketing Cloud, but we are going with Salesforce. It's the SDO environment. Let me quickly check. Yeah, it's the SDO environment. So I have already prepared this connection. And now I can say I would like to create or update and record. Now he's asking me what type of record you are looking for. So I can say it's the Salesforce Service Cloud case itself. And now he's asking me what you want to match. So you have selected create or update. So if you want to update, that means that the record has already been transferred to Salesforce Service Cloud. What is the field? So I can say it's an external ID field where you will be writing the ID of ServiceNow into it. So I can now click on this external ID field, and it is offering me all the suggestion from ServiceNow from the first step, all the output fields which are there. So I can either filter after and look for sys ID. This is the ID which is unique in ServiceNow, and select additional fields for subject, for instance, from Salesforce Service Cloud, or let's say internal comments. These are the two fields I want to populate as well. And for subject, I want to take the I think it's short description in ServiceNow. So the short description field, and for internal comments, I just say this is a meetup demo, and that would be it basically for the creation of the case in ServiceNow. So I'm now mapping the record fields which are created in ServiceNow to my Salesforce environment. And as a last step, I just want to drop a Slack message into my right Slack environment and say I want to post a message into a specific and dedicated channel, which is service request. So you can see here, this is the name of the channel, service request. And I would like to, the message would be like, I can either write something static or say cases, or let's say cases are created in service now with ID. And here I can either use functions or data from the different systems and look for sys ID. This is the ID for ServiceNow, and Salesforce Service Cloud with ID. And here I can enter then the ID of Salesforce Service Cloud. It is here. And that's how you can build something dynamic. I can even name my bot. So let's say my bot is Wilm. It's a colleague of mine, and I can provide also a picture of Wilm. So let's copy this and paste it here. So this is then the bot for me, and I can save it. Let's say this is demo meetup. Apply. So now it will be quickly tested that everything is fine. And now I can hit this test button to test it out if everything is fine, and I'm able to use this into my test environment. And now the moment it will start up, I will trigger incident creation, and let's see what happens then. So in ServiceNow, I will be creating a new case. Let's say it's 11th, oh no, 18th January 2023. Nothing more because all other fields I have not mapped. So submit the case, and this short description will now, again, Composer is doing the same thing what you have seen with RPA. It is watching ServiceNow to execute a trigger on new or updated record on the incident table, which now happened, and it realized it happened. So it will now create a new message here with, I think it's just 18th January 2023. Here you can see this is the new case, what we have entered. It should have, I think, an internal comment. So in the details, you can see there is an internal comment called this is a meetup demo and just a case creation. And in Slack, I have here Wilm has reported cases are created in ServiceNow with ID and Salesforce Service Cloud with this ID. And this is how simple you can make this automation workflow, especially between the business apps. Yeah, you can compose it together and make it available in a no-code approach. So I'm looking at the time a bit late today, but still I hope it is understandable and you are still with me.
Yes, I mean, that was an excellent demo. We're getting a lot of kiddos from the team here. Awesome. A couple of
Thank you.
questions. One is, do we need a separate license for using MuleSoft Composer? I assume yes.
So with Mulesoft Automation, you get so-called automation credit. And these automation credit, there's an amount, a defined number of these automation credit. They can be shared between RPA and Composer. Yeah, so you don't need a dedicated, when you are going for the Mulesoft Automation Suite, RPA and Composer are sharing these automation credits, so you can consume it either only for Composer or only for RPA or in a combination of both.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Darko mentions you got the concepts from high level perfectly. Thanks. Thank you, Amir, for great presentation.
So thanks a lot again. Let's continue due to time constraints. So use cases, what are also use cases? One we have seen, of course, chatbots plus RPA or plus automation. We have a dedicated Black Friday event. We recorded it and really explained it with our industry expert how this would reflect. So I suggest you watch it there. But this is the same scenario we have seen, right? So on peak events on your calendar year, you can define when what is happening. You have this workflow. So chatbots is really something which is empowered even further to enable self-service and provide this connected user experience for your end users with MuleSoft automation, including RP and Composer. So this is one point. And what we have seen, especially here in this, I can talk about Switzerland because I'm living here, patients admission. Yeah? And the way it goes is like at every hospital, you have these dedicated hospital system applications where whenever a doctor is sending you to a specific hospital, or other hospital are sending you to other hospital because they are full, this is done via email and attached documents where your information is there, and somebody is sitting there looking for these emails and looking, okay, there's Amir Khan, he will enter today. So they are entering my data into this dedicated hospital system applications. And of course there can happen errors, right? And this is a very critical scenario. If I am going there to get an operation of my knee and they do something with my foot, this would not be very good. So this is very critical, and errors are not very well seen there. So this is a scenario where doctors are sending you as a single patient admission, or other hospital because they are full as a multiple admission. So you get this email, or someone gets this email like Julie, and then she process you further. And also here we have recorded a dedicated demo, so you can see it with our industry expert, where we are walking through the process and really showing you where are the issues with the process, how long it takes, and how RPA in this case, because this legacy application is really something which is not providing any API, no way to unlock it. So with RPA, we have done the demo. And the last one is about inventory management, valid for any kind of organization. For instance, in SAP, when you have to log in into SAP, look for specific products or material on stock, get the approval via email from your boss uh, to execute a purchase order. Then you have to release the purchase order, send the order confirmation. And everyone who knows SAP, especially the ECC environment, it's so legacy and it's so heavy. It takes time, and many people are doing this on regular basis, daily basis, and invest 1 to 2 hours in these kind of things. So this is something you can completely reduce, because it's also the same scenario, not reliable, time consuming, error prone. So you can reduce this to a minimum using RPA. So whenever there is something, you can schedule every morning, please check these kind of materials and check if they are on stock, and just perform the automated execution and wait for the manual approval, and then perform the execution of the purchase ordering and send a confirmation email. Yeah, so also this has been recorded and is available on YouTube. We have referenced all links in this presentation, so you can check this out and see how this is one of the major scenario we see in the market from our customers. Just as a quick wrap up, first of all, sorry for the delay, um, but still, I believe with API first automation, especially with MuleSoft automation, you know MuleSoft already. You are the expert for all the system integration topics, any point platform. This is where you exactly know what to do, and you have been integrating these systems so from the past, and you have great experience. So now with API first automation, you have this already in place. What we are just adding are two additional capabilities. First of all, unlocking legacy system, unstructured data, or wherever you cannot use APIs, go with UI. Yeah, RPA is unlocking these processes with UI and automated processes, and then you can continue and enable, empower everyone. What you have been building with Anypoint, share it with your business using MuleSoft Composer. When you want to unlock legacy system, then empower your business people and users to use these automation and further consume it in your automation flow. So make the automation more appealing and use the building blocks to also decrease the technical debt in general, and then business can drive it, right? So they can build their own automation flow, as we have seen just now with ServiceNow, Salesforce, and Slack. This is the easy way for them to really understand what they are doing. Of course they need to understand the product composer, but the rest is really something which is straightforward. And the moment they start to automate, this is where they can get used to and automate basically anything, and empowering everyone and delivering success. Now this is our key message, and what I believe, I've seen many automation solution in the market. Majority of those have started here with RPA. Now they are moving towards APIs to this area, but there's no kind of solution like which is covering all three aspects. No code solution enabling business, having a stable integration platform plus the automation part. So this is really unique in the market. And with that, few resources all are linked together here for RPA and for Composer. I would will not further comment on this. Um, we were having already a great interaction. Again, last few minutes, are there any questions? If not, we would jump into the trivia quiz if we still have some time available.
I don't see any questions, but I'll just give them a minute to process. This was a great demo,
Right.
Amir. For personally for me, like I've been hearing Composer and RPA, and never had such a wonderful demo to make me clearly understand.
Thanks a
Thank you.
lot. Really appreciate it.
Just one thing. I think the trivia, we have decommissioned the vouchers as of December.
Mhm.
So yeah,
But if you want, we can still execute just as a fun
yeah, just
event.
for fun. Yeah, we can do that. Yes.
Okay, of course. So then let's do it. So what I would like to ask you is to, first of all, classic mode I have to select. Yeah. So you can go to kahoot.it either from your browser or from your mobile phone by scanning this QR code, and then this platform, and then just enter this pin to enter the game. So let's give the next 60 seconds for people to join and see who wins basically the quiz. And Rajesh, you tell me once the number is good, then we can kick it off. Currently, we have one persona. Already nine. Great.
Yeah, I think we can start.
Okay, so then let's kick it off. The first question is, let's see, I don't remember it by heart. So it's about what are the goals of automation? Of course, reducing cost, increasing productivity, increasing efficiency, or all of the above. I think that's straight. It's all about, getting fast, but also getting the right answer. So it's all good. Okay, never had this in this one. Well done. So let's continue. Who is leading the pack? It's Osama. You are on the top, and then followed by Saimendra and Sergejev. And Prasad and Frank are also on the list. Top five. Let's continue. The next one. What does RPA stands for? Is it robotic professional automation, retail patch automation, robotic process automation, or recording player application? Let's see who was fast and accurate. So it's of course robotic process automation, which seven got correct. Nice. So let's see if something changed. Again, Osama, Samendra, and Sergeyev. Let's continue with the next one. Three left. What is the long-term vision of MuleSoft with the addition of RPA? Is it transform customers from API-led to RPA-led integration, provide a separate offering only dedicated to the RPA market, enable end-to-end automation, or enable business to use RPA to talk to APIs? Okay, so I think this is clear. Yes, enable end-to-end automation is the right answer here. So let's continue again. The three are still there. Let's go to the fourth question. What is part of the MuleSoft automation offering? It's MuleSoft RPA, MuleSoft Composer, limited anypoint edition, or all of the above. It can only be one answer because we have seen all three. So let's see. Exactly, it's all of the above. So all three are part of the MuleSoft automation offering. Nothing changed here. Osama, you are really heading this from the beginning. Last question. Which MuleSoft solutions are part of Salesforce Flow portfolio? It's MuleSoft RPA only, MuleSoft Composer for Salesforce only, MuleSoft RPA and Anypoint platform, or MuleSoft RPA and Composer. This was this slide with the Salesforce Flow where you had these four components of Salesforce Flow on the top. And in the second row, you had the two components of MuleSoft Automation labeled as Salesforce Flow. So exactly MuleSoft RPA and MuleSoft Composer. So now let's see who is on the podium. So third one is Sagivev. Congratulations. Well done. Saimindra, well done. And I guess this is Osama. Yes, congratulations, guys. Really well done.
Awesome.
And we have Darko and Iqbal, of course, on the run up. All right. Then thanks a lot again, Rajesh, to give me the possibility to present today and really be part of this great interactive session. Really.
So, thanks, Amit. This is really fun and a lot of good information. So I've just shared the traded links for Composer and RPA on the chat window. So if anybody wants to learn more, please use those links. And yeah, feel free to connect with Amir and myself as well. If you have any questions, follow-up questions, we can definitely answer them. And yeah, if you need any more few topics or any specific use cases you want Amir to present, just let us know. We can work on that as well.
Thanks a lot.
Uh,
Thank you,
yeah,
Rajesh.
thank you, Amir. Thanks a lot.
Take
I'll stop
care.
there.
Bye bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.